Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Scheming Jafar from the Aladdin series. Scheming Jafar came out in October 2023, and I'm recording this video in October 2023, so it is currently lucky time. The drop rates for Scheming Jafar is the same compared to Dastardly Cruella, as well as Tyrannical Queen of Hearts. So for me, because I have all the other Tsums unlocked already, so my drop rate, it's going to be 1/3, so 33.33%. So if you are trying to get Scheming Jafar, now is a good time because it is currently lucky time. The ability description for Scheming Jafar is clears a zigzag plus a vertical line of Tsums. So for Scheming Jafar, there is two components to his ability, which I'll get into a little bit and also share with you some of the strategies that I use when I'm using Scheming Jafar. And before we go into the stats, if you enjoyed this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, review selection boxes, and do pickup capsule reviews, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. And also, I created a line group, so if you need additional friends to send hearts to or receive hearts, consider joining the line group. And if you have any questions about the Tsums, you could also ask the community there as well. Okay, so let's get into his stats. In order for you to activate his ability, you will need to get a total of 16 copies of him cleared off the screen. His minimum score is 50 with a maximum score of 1,324. So minimum score is not great at all, but for maximum score, it's pretty good. I currently have Scheming Jafar at level 45, and for scoring, he's pretty good. Not the best scorer, but it's pretty up there. And if you're trying to get him to skill level 6, you will need to get a total of 36 copies of him in the premium box or spending skill tickets on him. I personally wouldn't recommend you to spend your skill tickets on Scheming Jafar. He's a good Tsum, but there are better Tsums out there that you could spend your skill tickets on. So let's take a look at his skill chart. He starts off at skill level 1 with a skill range of extra small, and as you level him up, the skill range will get a little bit bigger and bigger. And the skill range is in reference to the vertical line only. The zigzag part doesn't change at all. That remains the same throughout all 6 of the skill levels, so that doesn't change. The only thing that changes is that center vertical clear. So at skill level 1, it's going to be extra small, and once you get him to skill level 6, it's going to be extra large. Alright, so let's get into it and take a look at the 3 different skill levels. I'll go over skill level 4, 5, and 6 as well, but let's take a look at the first 3. So for skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small. Skill level 2 in the middle is going to be small for skill range, and then skill level 3, the skill range is going to be medium. And again, this is only in reference to the final burst of the vertical line clear. The zigzag is going to be the same. So if you are using Scheming Jafar, there are a couple of things that you need to know. The first one being that during the ability time, the screen does not freeze. So what I mean by that is that Tsums will continue to fall from top to bottom even after you activate the ability. There are other Tsums out there where you activate the ability, the screen will completely freeze. So if your screen is completely empty and you activate the ability, you essentially just wasted your ability. So the strategy for using Scheming Jafar is that once you have your ability fully charged or almost full, you want to start spamming the ability button, so that way you have the carryover effect, and hopefully any extra charges for Scheming Jafar will go into the next ability like you see there for skill level 2. And that's the first thing you want to do, because by doing that you'll be able to get more Scheming Jafars activated per game because of the carryover effect, and you'll actually save a lot more time as well by spamming the ability button. And the second thing about Scheming Jafar is about bubble management. These magical bubbles do get in the way a lot, and keep in mind that the ability is going to clear in the center area. So if you have a lot of bubbles in the center area, they will get in the way of the vertical line clear at the middle section. So what you want to do is you want to burst the bubbles either immediately after the animation plays through, or wait until your fever ends and then burst all of the bubbles in hopes that you'll get right back into fever time. Those bubbles are pretty difficult, so if you see there for skill level 1, I had 4 bubbles there, so that vertical line clear was not as effective because I have 4 bubbles that are blocking the way. Essentially, there's always going to be 2 bubbles in the way because that's just how the zigzag burst works. Essentially, once they have the zigzag burst in the bottom left and bottom right hand corner, it's going to generate 2 bubbles. So those are always going to create 2 bubbles, and those will always get in the way. But the other ones, you do have a little bit of control, and you can move those out of the way by bursting them. So I will recommend you to burst your bubbles either immediately after the animation plays through, or if you see that your fever is running low, then you want to just give it a couple of seconds and then burst those bubbles once you are out of fever time. Alright, so what I want to show you guys next is a side-by-side comparison of Scheming Jafar's ability activated at the same time. I'm going to slow it down here and commentate over it so you know what's actually happening. So like I mentioned, there will be two of these zigzag bursts, and usually they're on the bottom left and bottom right hand corner, and they will generate two magic bubbles. So if you see here, skill level 1, there is one bubble that got in the way. Skill level 2 and 3, both the bubbles got in the way. But here you kind of see how big the skill range is going to be in terms of how thick it's going to be. So for skill level 1, I ended up with a chain of 18. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 22. And skill level 3, I got a chain of 25. So for the ability, it's not too bad. You not only get 2 additional bursts from the zigzag, but you also get this center burst. So Scheming Jafar is a really effective Tsum to use to try to get a high score, and also to generate bubbles. So if you encounter any of those missions this month where you have to use a new Tsum to make a lot of bubbles, Scheming Jafar is a really good one for that. Moving on to the higher skill level, so for skill level 4, 5, and 6. And again, there's only one difference here, and that's the skill range. For skill level 4, the skill range is large, extra large for skill level 5, and extra large for skill level 6. So the strategy for Scheming Jafar is going to be the same when you're talking about skill level 1, 2, and 3 versus skill level 4, 5, and 6. To recap, all you really want to do is get rid of the bubbles as soon as you can, or use them during the fever time. And then secondly is that you want to make sure that you are spamming the ability button when your ability is about to be charged. The reason for that is you want to activate the carryover effect. And keep in mind that at these higher skill level, these bubbles will always get in the way, so it's actually more crucial for you to try to burst these bubbles at these higher skill levels, because the skill range is so much bigger that you're almost guaranteed that the bubbles will always get in the way if you have a bubble on the screen. And because the skill range is so much bigger at these higher skill level, you're definitely going to be able to activate more abilities per game. So definitely make sure you spam the ability button, because that way you'll get a lot more abilities activated per game, earning you a higher score as well as earning you more coins. Scheming Jafar is a decent coin earner. If you don't have a decent coin earner, Scheming Jafar can be that. But let me show you the abilities activated at the same time so you can see for yourself what that will look like. And I really like Scheming Jafar's ability. It goes by really quick and earns you a really good amount of coins as well as score. So let's take a look at it here in slow motion. Very similar to skill level 1, 2, and 3, actually identical. You'll see the two little zaps that are zigzag on the bottom left and on the bottom right. And like I mentioned, because the skill range is so much bigger, it's likely that your bubbles will always get in the way. So try to minimize the amount of bubbles that are on the screen. If they are on the bottom, if your bubbles are on the bottom left hand corner or on the right hand side, you could probably save those because it's a center burst. So as you see there at skill level 4 and 6, those two bubbles that are there didn't get in the way. But as you resume here, you'll see that at skill level 4, I got a chain of 33. Skill level 5, I got a chain of 34, and skill level 6, I got a chain of 38. And I think there's one more thing that's worth pointing out, is that Scheming Jafar is a really good time bubble maker. So if you are struggling with making time bubbles or need a Tsum that makes good time bubbles, Scheming Jafar is a good option for that. And the reason why Scheming Jafar is a good time bubble maker is that during the zigzag zap or the lightning bolt that comes down, the chain there is usually anywhere between 8 to 11. I would say like it's an average, and that's like the sweet spot of making time bubbles. So you are very likely to get time bubbles from using Scheming Jafar's ability. Of course, it's not going to be every single time, but because the zigzag zap does get you in that range of the sweet spot for making a time bubble, that I think like Scheming Jafar is a good time bubble maker if you needed one. So overall, I really enjoy using Scheming Jafar. Scheming Jafar is a relatively easy Tsum to use, great for a beginner. There's not a lot of setting up to do and makes a lot of good time bubble. And because of that, I would say that Scheming Jafar is definitely worth getting. He's also very good at earning coins as well. So with that being said, let me show you the results for all 6 of these gameplays. At skill level 1, I ended up with 1,598 coins with a score of 6.9 million. So that's not too bad for a skill level 1. And keep in mind that that was probably a level 1 skill level 1 Tsum there, because all of these were my first attempts. So for a skill level 1 Tsum earning 1,598 coins, that's not too bad. And the score is okay. Like I mentioned, level 1, if you get the Tsum to level 50, definitely going to be a stronger case to get a higher score. And then skipping on ahead to skill level 6, I was able to get 5,374 coins with a score of 19.2 million. So definitely at skill level 6, it's really good. But again, you do have to spend a lot of skill tickets or even spending a lot of coins to get him to skill level 6. I don't think that's going to be worth it. If you are just looking for a decent coin earner, you don't have a lot of coins saved up, even getting him to skill level 4 is sufficient, because at skill level 4, you can use the 5-4 as well as the coin boost, and hopefully a coin fairy pays you a visit and gives you a multiplier. But if you do have a couple of skill tickets to spare, getting him to skill level 5 is going to be even better. You'll see there for skill level 4, 5, and 6, there was an increase of about 1,000 coins, even skill level 3 actually. So it is worth it to get Scheming Jafar to a higher skill level. Max, I would say skill level 5. You definitely don't want to spend too many skill tickets, because getting Scheming Jafar from skill level 5 to skill level 6, you need to spend 20 skill tickets or try to get 20 more copies of him, and I just don't think that's worth it for Scheming Jafar. So I think if you could somehow get him to skill level 5, that's amazing, but starting at skill level 3 and 4, that's already sufficient. And if you don't have the coins to spend, if you just have him at skill level 1, he's a really good Tsum. You don't need to use any boosts at skill level 1 and still get a good result. So that's my review of Scheming Jafar. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.